Day-old sourdough discard is a wonderful thing, yet common practice is to throw it away. Well, not today, my friends. To explain, I answer a few questions. What is sourdough starter and how to make one? And what is day-old sourdough discard and how to use it? And to do this, I provide a simple recipe example using the technique shown in this video. A sourdough starter is a culture. It's an organism made up of bacteria and cultured yeast. Each starter is unique in that it's a product of what it's fed and of its environment. To cultivate a starter, you simply mix flour and water over the course of several days to allow bacteria and wild yeast present to multiply and thrive. On day one, mix equal part rye or whole wheat flour with water in a food-safe container. I use a glass jar. Using all-purpose flour is fine if you don't have rye or whole wheat. Place the container in a warm, dark place for 24 hours. Not much will have happened after 24 hours. Feed your starter equal parts all-purpose flour and water. Mix well. Then place the container in a warm, dark place for 24 hours. By now you'll have noticed some activity. It's okay if not, just be patient and keep going. Take 3/4 of the mixture out of the jar, throw it away or bake with it. Feed your starter equal parts of all-purpose flour and water. Give it a mix. Place the container in a warm, dark place for 24 hours. On day 4, for you keeners that can't wait to get baking, you'll start feeding your starter twice a day. Stay on one feeding if you prefer. This schedule works fine too. Discard 2/3 and feed your starter equal parts AP flour and water. Give it a mix. Place your container in a warm, dark place. Repeat the feeding 10 hours later. I was greeted on the morning of the 5th day with this wonderful sight. Don't panic if this is you. Personally, I love seeing this sort of thing. Just clean your jar and move on. Continue scheduled feedings until your culture is ready. Your culture is ready to act as yeast once it consistently doubles in size within a window of 2 to 4 hours. A sourdough starter is yeast. It's a live fermentation that can be used to ferment things like flour to make bread. Another word to describe a starter is pre-ferment. The term is used to describe various types of yeast cultures, and it essentially means that you're fermenting a portion of the flour in advance of making bread. Look at my starter grow in a 4-hour window. I added a rubber band to indicate where it's at after feeding. Notice the difference between double in size and when it peaks. It's more than doubled by 3 hours. By 4, it's peaked, starting to come down by 4.5 hours. I'm showing you this because I don't want you to obsess about when your starter is ready. Use it when you're ready to use it. A sourdough starter is acidic, primarily made up of lactic acid and acetic acid. This is important for 2 reasons. First, when your culture is healthy and acidic, its low pH makes it inhospitable to certain bad bacteria. Second, this acidic culture transforms the ingredients it's added to or mixed with. And this is why you want to cook or bake with it. A starter adds flavor and improves texture and tenderness when added to a recipe. Day-old starter is the culture left over in your jar that you did not use in your recipe, which has aged a day. I want to show you how I use sourdough culture and day-old starter as a point of reference for future videos. Think of this as a technique. It's good practice to keep your culture separate so as to easily maintain and propagate the culture. My culture, 2 flour, I keep, feed, and use as yeast to inoculate a leaven I then use for baking sourdough bread daily. I've had 2 flour by my side for a number of years now. Day-old starter I use in cooking and baking to add flavor to recipes. I plan to use my day-old starter in advance. I make what I need to be sure there is no leftover starter to discard. 24 hours before, I take the leftover from 2 flour and plan to use it as day-old starter. I know I need 200 grams of day-old starter for my recipe. I have 40 grams in this jar. I add 60 grams of all-purpose flour and 100 grams of water. Mix and leave it in until the next day. Let's see how it all comes together. Add the oats to your bowl. I soak these overnight, then drain them. Mash the bananas and add them to the bowl. Here I use half whole wheat flour and half all-purpose flour. Salt and the day-old starter. Just empty the jar in there. Give the mixture a good stir with a spatula. Add the baking soda and incorporate. Pour your batter into a prepared loaf tin. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and bake until you test the loaf with a toothpick and it comes out clean. Let cool completely before cutting. The starter is a versatile culture that can be used as yeast in baking and used to add flavor, texture, and tenderness to recipes. Use the technique shown in this video to adapt your sourdough starter to your schedule and uses. And more importantly, use the technique to never again throw away day-old starter.